Welcome to Vatika Voices, her story, her Noor, where we go beyond the screen, beyond the aesthetic, and into the stories of women who are building lives, not just content. And sometimes it looks like owning your space, your voice, and your story. Imagine being 6 years old and telling your parents you hate the very thing you are prodigy at. Now, imagine taking that frustration, turning it into a world ranking, and then, when a career-ending injury hits, not just walking away, but building an entire empire from the wreckage. Today's guest is a pro squash legend, a Guinness World Record educator, and the force behind the flying dove. Kenzie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank
So,
you.
Kenzie, you were ranked top 30 in the world. Most athletes struggle to find day two after retirement. But you, what did you do after retirement? You rebuilt a new empire. Tell us more about this journey.
So I love that you said that I hated squash when I was 6 because it's very true. When I first started playing squash at a very young age, my parents were very strict in terms of me going to practices. They didn't allow me to skip any practices, and I didn't understand why do I need to go every day and play such a frustrating sport. Squash is extremely hard.
True.
And I spent so many hours on court while all the other kids were just playing or eating fries and
Yeah.
nuggets in the playing ground. So for me, it was like, what am I doing with my life? Why do I need to be here when all my friends are playing in the playing ground? So I think the first thing I want to say is people automatically think that you have a passion for something when you're good at it. So people think that your passion is squash, but I wasn't born with a passion for squash. I was a regular person, and then what happened is that squash helped me to find my purpose in life, and then eventually that purpose led to me finding my passion in squash.
Amazing. And were you ready for that moment, like turning from being Kenzie the athlete to being Kenzie the CEO?
So actually, when I got injured, so I was world number 20 at the time, and I was a full-time professional athlete, and my goal was to become world number one. So I was just fully on that journey, and then the injury hit me out of nowhere. So I injured my lower back, and it was very hard to get through that because I didn't want to accept the fact that I'm retiring at 25 years old. For me, I was only going to retire when I'm incapable physically of performing and when I'm world number one. So having to face that reality was very hard.
Yeah.
But beyond the physical pain of my injury, I think the hardest thing was the identity shift. So who am I right now?
It's not easy and so challenging that you have changed the whole identity that you've been building up since 6 years old. right?
Exactly.
Since that age, that young age, your ambitions, your dreams were all built based on that foundation and
Exactly.
that dream. Tell us about this challenge. I need to know more, Kanzi.
So actually, the like I said, so growing up, because squash was the biggest part of my identity, it was more about finding that purpose in life. And when you're a pro athlete or when you're an athlete at a high level in general, your whole identity shifts because your sport really defines your mindset, the people you surround yourself with, your nutrition, your sleep, your schedule. It really becomes your full-on identity. And for me, it was waking up every day and finding that purpose and showing up to practice. And it wasn't just the 5 or 6 hours I spent on court. It was also how many hours of sleep am I getting. I was skipping all the birthdays and all the occasions because I always wanted to become the best. So it's a very dangerous cycle because you think that you are your results. So it's like, if I win, I'm valuable, but if I lose, I'm not valuable. So it becomes your whole worthiness and your whole identity. So when I got injured and I couldn't do that anymore, it was a big shock to my system. And I was in complete denial because for me, it wasn't just losing a sport or not being able to compete. It was losing my whole identity and my whole purpose in life. It's like, what is my value right now if I cannot win? What is my value beyond the scoreboard and beyond my global ranking? Who am I right now? And I was so lost in life. I completely lost my identity. So the whole shift of that was, I think, the hardest thing that I had ever gone through.
It takes someone so strong and someone that so determined to rebuild his foundation and his identity all the way from scratch. It is you. That's why you're here.
Thank you so much.
You're such an inspiration. We will go now for your curls.
Okay.
right? Kenzie, look at this. I love how you're rocking those curls. Tell me, when did you first start embracing them in fully? And how did they affect your self-confidence?
So growing up, when I used to compete, I didn't really care about self care and self routine. You know, when you're in your teenage years, you don't really take care of that. So I used to put my hair in a ponytail and just compete, and it used to hit all of my opponents in the face.
Mm.
I don't think they appreciated it as much as I did, but I cannot remember the amount of times where I used to play and then it's hitting all of my opponents in the face. And then after I went to university, all of my teammates, they had an intervention with me, and they said, Kenzie, your hair is all over the place. So off court you can do whatever you want, but in court you should really take care of it. So
Yeah.
they taught me how to put it in a bun while I was competing. And I thought this was such a good way and a good balance, because off court I could have my wild hair and I could, I could be free and independent and I could do whatever I want. But then when I'm in court and I'm performing, I put it in a bun, and then I'm very laser focused. I'm sharper. I look more professional,
Yeah.
and I'm more contained. And then I would say the third step in this is when I graduated, and when I retired actually from my pro career. That's when I started to really take care of myself as a woman, because I wasn't a full-time pro athlete anymore. So I started to embrace
Yeah.
my beauty and to embrace the curls as well. So
Taking care more of your
exactly,
self.
yeah. And I think we all go through it,
Yeah.
through this as women. We
Yeah.
go through the different stages.
On this stage, tell me more about your hair care, hair routine.
So I think now I'm a lot more focused on hair masks and really, taking care of the products, like which type of products I'm
Yeah.
using. And I think it really helps, because when you wake up and let's say I did my hair care routine the day before, and then I wake up and I look in the mirror, and then my curls are, shining, and I love them. I love having
Yeah.
those kind of hair. So it really shapes my confidence and my
Yeah.
personality. And it's just hair is just such a big part of my
I'm a big
personality.
fan of curly hair. I wish I had it myself, because it's an identity.
Right, it's
No
a
matter
statement.
what, it's such a statement, and it needs extra treatment, by the way, just to keep it shiny and looking good. I think you're choosing the right products already.
Thank you.
Let's go to a fun part,
Okay.
which is never have I ever. I just
Okay.
ask you a question and you tell me.
Okay.
Okay. We need the athlete's truth here, Kanzi.
Okay.
Are you
okay.
ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm excited.
Never have I ever acted calm when my heart was racing.
Okay. For me, it's like internally, I'm going through World War III. There's like this internal battle.
Wow.
But then from the outside, it's like I'm a yoga teacher. You know?
Wow.
So
It's not easy at all. Never have I ever given my opponent a look that said, good luck, you will need it.
always, every single time, every
Great.
single match.
Great. Never have I ever had a don't mess with me era on court.
Oh, it's not an era. It's a full-on personality. So like all the time.
Now we get to know you more, actually. Never have I ever hated a workout routine, but did it anyway because it works.
Of course. Leg day every time. I question my life's choices, but do it anyway.
Amazing. Never have I ever had a pre-match ritual I would never admit publicly.
No, of course. Of course. I run on superstitions.
Never have I ever stayed up all night worrying if my business plan was crazier than my training schedule.
Of course. 100%. I wonder if I'll ever use this one, you know? I have
We'll
never.
see now. We still have two, I think, questions. Never have I ever caught someone cheating on court and called them out right then and there.
Oh, of course. And I look at everyone outside and I say, everyone, look at she cheated, you know? I
really?
make it very dramatic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Never have I ever missed the locker room energy after retiring.
Yes, I do miss that as well. So.
Kenzie, you're such a great inspiration and a very strong woman. But what happens when the purpose feels heavy? You do have a purpose, but it's heavy in between all the struggles that you have passed through throughout these years. Tell me, how did you balance mentally, and how did you manage to be Kenzie, the one I'm seeing now, with this positive energy? As you told me, you are a yoga trainer from the outside, maybe inside. There's a storm happening.
Of course.
I need to know how you balance mentally in between these two.
So I think my athletic career has really given me the foundation.
Yes.
Again, I always thought that squash was my purpose, but then I came to learn that my purpose was never squash when I retired. It was actually growth. So squash was the vehicle and the engine that has given me all these tools, these very important tools. So how to take risks, how to be extremely disciplined, how to be extremely motivated, how to follow a schedule, how to always, so it really taught me all of these tools and foundations. And I think the biggest thing was the discipline that I learned, because then once I retired from my pro career, I was able to take on all of these tools and all of these things that I had learned, these things that shaped me as a person. And then I was able to repurpose my life and do an identity shift, and then just keep on growing all the time. And that's why I was able to launch a business and multiple businesses actually. And I was able to build different careers for myself, because again, the sport has taught me, has given me all these valuable tools to make it where I am today.
The strategy, determination.
Of course.
To be like fully committed all the time. This is great keys for you to build up a new empire for you, and you're doing it now. Kenzie, in squash and in business, everything relies on the foundation and the roots. Is it the same when it comes to your beauty philosophy?
100%. I think this philosophy applies on, like you said, work, social life, beauty, and everything. I think for me, it's you can't really polish the surface and expect for you to succeed. Everything has to come from the foundation and from the roots. And if you don't take care of your roots, and you won't be able to succeed in life, and you're just putting on a mask that is not going to get you far in life. It's the same as your confidence, for example. You cannot build your confidence based on compliments. You really have to work on it and put in the work and self-work and build that slowly in order for you to get there. So I really believe that the roots and the foundations are extremely important in every aspect of your life in order for you to succeed.
Amazing. It's the same for her roots as well.
Exactly.
Moving forward, I'll have a quick fire question with you.
Okay.
No overthinking, just the athlete's instinct, yes or no.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes.
Is winning an addiction?
100%.
Is it easier to be a boss in business than a body in the court?
Yes.
Is your calm CEO voice scarier than your match face?
No.
Have you ever trained harder just because someone annoyed you?
For 100%.
Do you miss the locker room gossip energy?
Always, every day.
Is it hard for you to switch off the I'm winning this mode?
Yes.
Wow. If life had a scoreboard, are you currently winning?
Absolutely.
Great. Now Kenzie will move to a calmer segment.
Okay.
All about Ramadan.
Nice.
Ramadan is often a time for stillness, calmness, getting to know ourselves maybe more, reconnected with our energy, with our spirit. What does it feel for someone like you, always on the go, Guinness records, always speedy life? How does Ramadan reflects on you?
So Ramadan is a month where everything slows down, and I really like how everyone doesn't have energy because everyone's schedules are busy, and because people are not as available and they don't have as much energy. So I really take the opportunity, and I take this month to reset and also really calm down and have a much more manageable schedule.
Yeah.
So growing up, because I was always used to having that adrenaline rush all the time, even when I stopped playing, even when I stopped my pro career, right now I'm functioning on adrenaline. I run on adrenaline. So if I'm not doing 4 or 5 jobs at the same time, if I'm not working out, if I'm not seeing my friends, if I'm not cooking, there's always so much in my day in order for me to survive, because it became an addiction almost. So this month is really the month where I take the time to slow down and try not to do 100 things per day, and to really reset my mind and body so that I can, survive.
Just a break.
Yeah, just take a break so that I can, reset and refunction again. But it's harder for me to do that because I'm so programmed to be, to function on 100 miles per hour. So for me, it's actually a challenge, as ironic
Yeah.
as it is. It's a challenge to slow down, but it's definitely
I'm sure
needed.
you're still planning on what's going to happen after Ramadan.
Yeah, of course.
You're always like that. Kanzi, if you could speak to that 6-year-old girl, what would you tell her now?
I would say a couple of things. The first thing is that you are not valued, or you are not worthy just because you are winning trophies and medals and because people are applauding you. So you are worthy because of so many other things. And your squash career doesn't define who you are. I would also say to please be patient because I'm very impatient and I always want instant results.
Yeah.
And I also want to say that so when your journey ends, even if it's extremely painful, and even if you think that this is the worst thing that could ever happen to you, don't think like that, because at the end of the day, it must be the best, and it can be the best thing that could ever happen to you, and it might be the start of something beautiful. And the other thing I would say is don't shrink anything. So don't shrink your ambition, don't shrink your voice, don't shrink your hair.
Yeah. Just be ready always for the changes, because life is all about change.
Yeah, just do you, and we're not here to play small, right? So just always be bold and take risks and just live your life.
Speaking about self-care, we will offer you a small gift from Vatika. It's a hamper. So these products are actually essential products throughout Ramadan, and it's essential for you since you just said that I want a break throughout Ramadan.
Yes.
Also, your hair.
So I'm gonna spend a lot of time this Ramadan doing a lot of hair care.
Yes. Enjoy it.
Thank you so much.
It was great having you, Kenzie.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
An inspiration for everyone watching.
Thank you.
And such an add value for our community, especially the women out there watching, that nothing is impossible. And if you just believe in yourself, you can switch your identity anytime and anywhere. Just the most important thing is to believe.
Of course. Thank you.
Kenzie, thank you for showing us that to be a champion is not just a medal, it's a mindset. This has been Vatika Voices. Her story, her Noor. See you next time.